What's going on, everybody? Mitch Gibson back with another episode of the MVP podcast on the Agency Intelligence Network. Hope everybody's having a great start to their Monday morning and their week. I've got a special guest for you. When I say special guest, I think probably one of the most successful so far to this date. Young insurance agents that's out killing it, making it happen. When he just shared some numbers with me and shared some of the things that they're doing inside the Redwood agency group in Austin, Texas. I literally started kind of peeing down my leg a little bit, saying, "Man, I'm a day late and a dollar short behind this guy," and I love it because we're all about learning. I'm all about learning. But Mr. Joe Kampert's Joe Kampert's doing it really, really well over at the Redwood Agency, and I'm happy to have you on the show, my man. How are you doing today?
Awesome, dude. Hey, I'm doing good, bro. Thank you, fan, for having me on. Super excited. Right, coming back your way, dude. I love everything about your vibe and just I think it's sometimes us being like in a younger space, right? Like I'm 27. How old are you?
26.
26, right? And so I think, it's funny too, because I did just shave what I call a beard, but it's not a beard. And I look so much more like a baby. And I removed my picture for my email signature because people didn't want to do business with a baby, right? But, to my point of, I think when you do things the right way, especially this day and age, people are starting to see past that youth, quote unquote, right? Because of the experience and the testimony that we've been able to share. And for me, I've been in 8 years. So it's not just, I just got in type of thing. I'm a little kid, but no, totally back your way, man. I think you're doing some amazing things, not only in insurance, but also, in your community. And I know you're doing real estate, all that stuff. So you're crushing it as well, man.
Well, I do appreciate that. And like I said, a lot of these agents or loyal listeners, as Jason Cass likes to say, as a listener of the Agency Intelligence Nation, he talks about, and I myself talk about how we don't do a good enough job as agents learning and taking ideas from somebody. And I was actually on the Power Producers podcast a couple weeks ago with Carruthers, and that's one thing we talked about is nobody takes their CE and their continuing education and their whatever they're listening to or watching. People are given freaking tips and tricks left and right. And how many of them do you think they just fly over people's head or go in one ear, let it sit there, resonate for a couple of days, and it flies out, and they forget to do what someone's doing that has been successful. And for you, that's had to have been a big pillar and building block of your success.
Oh yeah.
Being in it for 8 years. There's not many people that get into it at 19. I mean, I would have never thought in a million years I would be in insurance at the age of 19. So take us back a little bit for that. I don't want to spend a ton of time here and asking you questions about your past and everything that you've went through, but go into some of the things that you've learned from, whether that's mentors, people in your community, agencies that you've worked at, whether that's back home here in Indiana, because you're an Indiana native, back up in Noblesville. What was that like in the learning process for you through those 8 years? And, what were some kind of, I guess, bigger takeaways that helped prepare you for what you're doing at your agency in Texas?
Yeah, for sure. I think one, it's funny. We always talk. I'm allowed to, I'm the one person that's allowed to say this. It's so funny because I literally wanted to be in insurance from literally like second grade. My dad had got started with State Farm actually back in the 90s, right? And he was an underwriter, and then he's always been on the corporate side, so kind of like territory sales leader, that type of thing. Where I've always been in the agency, right? So I think that's kind of something, right? Because I did imagine myself being in insurance, and I didn't imagine it at 19. I thought I was going to go through college and get my degree and then get my job and blah blah blah. I think it's how a lot of us were raised, right? But then I ended up dropping out of school. And really it was to just pursue insurance. And I think that's kind of where I like to start, right? I think having the understanding and knowing why I wanted to pursue it, right? Like to just drop out of school for kind of a one-off or like, man, hope this thing works, right? The first question that I was asked at my office where I interned, right? So I went, made pennies on the dollar, but it was an invaluable experience, right? To where the first thing she asked me though was, why do you want to be here? And I'm like, well, it's a good question, right? And it's a good, like, you should know, right? Like, especially if I'm going to change my entire life and move to St. Louis and start over and try and do this thing, right? It was because, one, I love to freaking make money, right? It's never a bad thing. I'm going to coin one of my mentors, and we'll get into mentorship and stuff like that too. But money buys happiness. It really does. Anybody that's
anyone says that's lying.
Right. It's like it buys happiness, but what it doesn't buy is fulfillment. Right. So, and I love that. I live my life by that, is that You know, I love to make money. I do, right? And so when I can make money and also pursue my passion of helping people, right? And I'm like, okay, I love to help people. I love to give back, and that's just who I am. It's how I was raised. That's my heart, man. I just love people. I love pouring into others to help them find success, to level themselves up. You know, learning from, you know, just again other people's experiences. So I love to make money. I love to help people, and specifically to property and casualty insurance is, man, I'm illegal not to have, right? So talk about an amazing business model, right? And I'm like,
See,
I could do all this.
that's
Yeah.
that's awesome that you say that, because it's not the first time I think I've brought up those kind of those, at least those three. And
Mhm.
I tried to be Mr. like hard ass, I guess, and have them, you know, on the spot say, I remember Cass talking about 5 things of, you know, why the independent insurance agency is the place to work and want to be because of those 5 reasons. I think I was only able to come up with 3 of them on the
Yeah.
spot, but I primarily remember those 3 because that's what this industry is, you know, does for people as agents, producers, anybody that wants to get into it. It's providing you, 1, financial stability, 2,
Yep.
freedom,
Yep.
3, helping others. And the last one you said was you like making money. I mean,
Yep.
you love to make money. If that drives you, I mean, the money bucket's not going to run dry in this industry.
It
So
really is not.
so you've done a good job of establishing kind of what your core values are, and I think that's huge. So I want to spend a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes on your personal self, because
Mhm.
when you grow up in a specific town or state and you move from another state and then you move from another state, adjusting's different.
Yeah.
Time, culture, I mean, everything about it is different, even a financial standpoint. What was the biggest, I guess, change or the hardest thing from going from somewhere like Indiana
Mhm.
to St. Louis, like you said, then to Austin, Texas, the
Yeah.
heartland of our country?
Dude, I'll tell you, man, like, and I was actually just talking with, we just brought on a new producer. He just started yesterday, actually, was his first official day. And so we were talking yesterday afternoon, and where I felt as though it was a detriment, right? I tell you, you really want to pursue something or you really want to go all in, move to a new city where you don't know anybody. Because then like when I moved and uprooted from Noblesville, I mean, I seriously did not know a single soul in St. Louis, right? And I also wasn't 21, so it's not like I could go out to bars or go
Right.
connect with other young adults, whatever it is, right? Like it literally was wake up, get to work hard, right? You work late, go to the gym, work out, go eat dinner, and then go to bed, right? And that's, I
Sure.
literally did that for probably almost 2 years, man. Like it was crazy.
Wow.
The only other communication I really had was with my lacrosse players. I was playing in a men's league lacrosse league, and it was awesome. And but even then, it was still, I wasn't really connecting with people outside of that. They're older, they're going out. I couldn't go out, right? And so, you know, I think a lot of people are scared to do that, but I attribute so much of my, I would say, quote unquote, rapid success, but we'll come back to that too, because I
Sure.
don't think any of this happens overnight. And that was also something I was talking about with our producer. Man, you got to put in the hours,
Yep.
right? Like he was like, well, can I come in on Saturdays? I was like, oh, I
I
love
love
you.
you.
Yes. I was like, yes. Because I'm like, I worked Saturdays for 5 years straight, man,
Sure.
6 days a week, 10 to 12-hour days. And I really, I would encourage people to think about that, right? And, you know, my dad said this when I made a big transition of really going from a smaller agency in the West Central region, which was when I was in St. Louis, to working for a mega agency out in the capital region, right? And so I didn't know what to do. I wanted to go corporate. I was really good at helping agents start up, right? That's a fixed income. I've got a company car, company phone. And I was like,
Boom.
man, I really don't want to go start up at the bottom of the totem pole again, right? And so he goes, you know, the Bill Gates of this world, you know, were not made in their comfort zones, right? So anybody that's kind of on the fence with that, or you've been offered an opportunity that is a life-changing opportunity, but it means you're going to have to alter your life and potentially move to a city where you don't know anybody and restart. It's crazy to me how I did it in St. Louis. And then when I moved to Austin, same thing again, man. I didn't know anybody. I just moved to Austin because
Sure.
honestly, I was moving to be with my wife, but we weren't married yet then. And then she ended up going doing research down in the valley. And I'm like, well, shoot, I already quit my job and told everybody I was moving to Texas. So looks like I'm moving to
I'm going
Texas.
doing it no matter what now.
Yeah. And so I just literally packed up a U-Haul. Me and my dog, man, just drove to Austin, Texas. And I've been here ever since.
What kind of dog we
Um,
got?
I got a Great Dane, dude. I got a huge Great
So
Dane.
same. What kind of what color is it?
He's a Harlequin. So
Okay.
he's like white and mostly white, and he's kind of like taupe and chart. He's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've got a blue Merle. So
Beautiful.
she's a freaking horse. I feel like she takes up half the house every time she's walking through a hallway or something.
Anybody says a squirrel moment, guys, anybody that says Great Danes are notorious apartment dogs, they are bullshitting, man, because there's no way you're catching me and my freaking huge dog in an apartment being comfortable. No. Like, no way.
Yeah, because the dog, you almost need more space for the animal than you do yourself. Like, daggone it. You said something pretty you said something that triggered my thought of something I saw you guys doing the other day with I think actually the same new employee you were just talking about you hired. Mm-hmm. You guys were doing you're calling it a dream. What was the name of House of Dreams? So how I guess the best way to explain this, and I didn't finish watching the whole video because I got a phone call, but he has this whiteboard up on the wall, and it looks like a cloud, so it's almost like a thought bubble, and that's your
dream.
Dream. So talk to us a little bit how that works out, and where did you come up with that, and how has it been so helpful with you guys?
Yeah. So, and right before we get there, let's backtrack a little bit, because I really wanted to bring this up, is that, walk your own walk too, right? I think everything that I'm about to go over and everything that I found success, I hope you find nuggets, and I hope it, anybody listening to this, I hope it helps you, right? But at the same time, I'm Joe, right? You're not Joe. And what I define as success doesn't always necessarily need to fit your definition, right? And you can define that how you want. So I just want everybody to know that, but then also that none of this happened overnight, that we put years and years and hours and weekends of work into this thing. And I think, man, with a good work ethic and the right values, right? And then you throw in kind of our House of Dreams and what we've kind of founded our new independent brokerage on. I mean, nothing isn't freaking possible, man. Sure. So House of Dreams was our first.
Real quick, because this is ADHD squirrel mind again. I'm going to backtrack a quick second, because if not, I'll forget. I wanted to bring this up when he was talking about the moving and, the not knowing anybody and the trying something new, or, like you said, not being 21 and heck, trying to scramble up business. What's one of the most common ways? Insurance agents, they drink, they go to these events, they go golf, they interact with people. Mm-hmm. But what he did was, and I forget who I heard this quote from, but you established being very, very comfortable with being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. If you can find yourself being comfortable in uncomfortable situations, you're going to win 99.9% of the time. And I truly freaking believe that. So I had to bring that into play, which is leading to, some of the things you're probably getting ready to share on this House of Dreams is probably making people feel a little uncomfortable. But once you get comfortable with it,
it does. And I think it's not something that is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because we never talk about it.
Exactly. Right? That's exactly it.
And I think, for us, this was literally the first thing that we did. We did not get on the phones. Well, one, we didn't know how to work our phones for like the first 2 weeks, because no, I won't even go into that. Guys, make sure you know how to work all of your systems, and don't change it the day that you start, your agency. Learn from me there. I can have a separate call for that. But for us, this is the first thing, man, because why is Redwood here? What are we trying to do with this thing, right? And in a nutshell, and I'll break down kind of the components quickly for you guys so you understand, it's to help agents dream again. I think people call it cliche to chase your dreams, and it's not, right? Because why else am I doing this thing? And so the House of Dreams, really, it's formed. It's got obviously the house, which is your dream, right? What does your dream house even look like, right? And what are the rooms in that house? How many stories is it going to be, right? What type of roof? All these types of things, and so it starts with your dream, right? And then you start to frame it, which is your visions, okay, right? And then you have discipline, which is the foundation, because without discipline, none of this is possible, right? But then ultimately, what it comes down to is the roof that we cap ourselves, right? And that's what we call our limiting beliefs. That's what's limiting us from really chasing that dream that we want this house to look like. Yet, 30 days in, we're already putting a roof on it, man, and we're limiting ourselves in what we're capable of. So it all starts there, and then there's other components where it's, okay, hey, now that we're starting to find success and we're scaling and we're growing and we've got the attention of the masses, right, or whatever it is. You've got to be working not only what is above the water, which is what people see, what they hear on this podcast, right? But then below the water, and we use a sailboat illustration because the keel is your character. It's what keeps that sailboat from totally toppling over, is because I can be huge up here and I can talk the talk and this can be an amazing podcast episode. But if my character is shit, then none of it matters, right? And it's only temporary success. Even if people, again, they what they see above the water is amazing. It's flashy. It's this, and this, and they're following you. But then ultimately your character doesn't add up, right? It doesn't align with who or what you are, which is your persona, right? And then also, then you go into your 3 Ps is what we call them. So it's, and they've changed. We were actually going over this. It started with purpose, passion, and perseverance. Now it's perseverance, patience, and passion, or patience and passion. So it's kind of cool to see how they've changed over the years as Redwood has changed. But I think those 3 things, you need to have passion for what you're trying to freaking do, right? You've got this dream, you've got this dream house, you're working on yourself, your internal self as well. But then it's like, you got to be passionate about it. Otherwise, you're not really going to build this dream house that you really want, because there's zero passion in it. The patience piece is...
If you're not, and that goes with anything too, and I sometimes have to bring these loyal listeners back in to understand the word passion. Like, if you're not passionate about being an insurance producer, if you're not passionate about being an insurance CSR, if you're just not passionate about the damn insurance industry at all, go do something else, because you're going to be miserable. Mm-hmm. I'm a nerd. I'm an insurance nerd. Proud to say it now. Like, asked me 2 years, I was like, I don't want to say that. I'm in the middle of 300. I love insurance. And, when someone who you run into who also is in insurance, and they're like, man, it feels good to be able to, talk insurance with people, because no one knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Well, those people aren't passionate about it. That's why they don't care or could care less. So, but that's a big word that you say that I incorporate myself, because I wasn't building a business at the time. Mm-hmm. But myself going through things, I had to create my own, process in my own mind to help me personally. And the top word was passion.
Yeah.
So I love that. Did the patience word come in because you realized
that actually just recently changed? And I think that's, because we started to grow so fast. But then when you grow fast, right, and this is something we've just recently learned, is that things break. Yep. What our system that worked for 5 people is not going to work for the 50 plus now, right? And so I think having patience, that, again, you're putting that passion in, because this is my passion. I'm really pursuing this, but then I've got to exercise the patience as we're doing a tech overhaul, right? And changing everything that we've been using for the past, however many years, we're changing that, right? And exercising patience in that to know that it's not going to happen overnight, right? But then the last P is perseverance. You've got to be able to persevere through all of it as well, right? And I think there is a difference between perseverance and patience, right? I think, the perseverance piece is kind of like you can be patient as long, and like, I feel like when you're patient, there's almost kind of like a calm to it, right? Where perseverance to me is like you're grinding, you are going through all the brokenness, right? And you've got to kind of have the two together, I think, too, that you've got to exercise the patience and you've got to persevere through all the changes. But ultimately, it's because it's your passion. And I think, that's one thing that we really try, like when you come to Redwood, right? Or even in our initial talks of like speaking, what are you trying to do? Like, right. Like what are you truly, like, what is your passion? Right. And to me, insurance is a vehicle. Just so happens that it's my passion, because I love to help people and coach agents, and I'm able to do that within an insurance avenue. But insurance doesn't have to be your passion, but it can be your vehicle to help you lead to your passion, right? To where I can help you build a business that allows you to go work on your ministry, right? Or to go care for pets, right? Or start up an exotic zoo. Like I've got a buddy who up in Michigan, he's got an entire exotic zoo because that's his wife's freaking passion, right?
That's awesome though.
And it is. And he's like, yeah, I drink coffee in the morning and watch my zebras run across the field. And I'm like, what the, but insurance was the vehicle that was allowing them to do that. Sure. Right. And so don't feel as though, like, guys, like, it's not a lot of people like are passionate about insurance itself. We're passionate about what it can do for our lives. Right.
I agree.
Again, maybe you're an insurance nerd like me and Mitch, where it's like, dude, I see a roof, or I see like all these new houses being built, and I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, that new home builds, man, I've got killer rates for those. Like, nobody does that when they're driving past a new neighborhood, right?
Or when you're walking past somebody, you're in a neighborhood, or you're walking around somewhere and you look up at someone's roof and you're like, damn, That's got to be 20, 25-year-old roof. He got some
right.
hail damage. I'd be
It's like,
calling it. I'd be
man,
calling
look
an
at all
insurance
those
team.
hits, man. Oh gosh, yeah, it's so bad, man. But no, so then the final piece that leads to the ultimate, like why we're building this house of dreams and why we're pushing people to even think like this is your tribe, right? And it's having, and we use the word tribe specifically because it's not your friends, it's not your family, it's not your coworkers or your peers, right? It is the people who like have your freaking back, not only in business but also in your family, in personal, like the ability to celebrate you and also check you if you need to be checked. Yep. Right. And having those types of relationships are, I think it's crucial to especially anybody new listening to this, find your tribe, right? And if you don't have one, it's not too late, right? And I've heard some older agents that have talked about that, where it's like, man, I've looking back, I don't have that. It's like, well, it's not too late. You can find that, right? There are people in this world that will have your back. And again, I think when you start to mix in all those, like when I find somebody that's, passionate and they know like what their dream is and what they're trying to do, or they're allowing me to help build that in themselves, right? That to me is I want you in my tribe, right? We're like-minded. We're going to check each other, keep each other accountable. Accountability is huge. And then that leads to the big L, right? Which is not the big L as in you're going to lose by doing all this, guys. It's legacy. It's ultimately like why we're doing all of this, right? It's not just to do it and for it, like as soon as we're gone, nobody ever talks about it again, right? We're trying to leave something lasting, right? Sure. And so what is it, a good lasting thing or is it a bad lasting, right? Is it negative or is it positive? And I think, as you mix all of those things in and you're really working on yourself, you're surrounding yourself with people who are helping better you and you're helping better them. You're exercising the 3 Ps and chasing your dream. You will leave a positive, long-lasting legacy, man.
Now, let me ask you this, because I know you do this with, your producers or new employees, just so you guys are, one, you've created that culture. You're creating that culture. Here's what we're going to do. Here's why we're going to do it. I mean, you're not just doing it for the hell of it. We're doing it for a purpose. Yep. Now, say some individual out there, because I know there's a lot of younger agents that are our age or similar, who struggle with being in a bigger agency or an agency that's, old and just stale as can be, and struggle with, am I being productive? Am I having success? And is this working?
What does success look like?
Exactly. Is this even, I remember my first 2 years, and, I always took the assumption of if no one says anything,
I must be doing
my job. Right.
Right.
So, but I started to learn quickly that's not how I was going to be able to be the best version of myself, especially in an industry and something I didn't know one damn thing about.
Yep.
Jumping in. So for me, understanding the value of, one, the tribe, but two, understanding trying things out on your own time outside of work time, like little brain share, thoughts and, whiteboard talks of themselves, because sometimes a lot of those guys don't have that. A lot of these agencies don't have, lunch and learns with their employees to help them brain share items like this and help get to their goals and their, to leave that legacy. Is this easy for someone to do by themselves?
Right.
Are they able to, is this something they can do by themselves, or is it something that it's better? It is,
but you need to find what it is that kickstarts it, right? Like, so we talk a lot about this as well. Like, I really push people to, they need to kickstart every day. So we're, we do a lot of stuff with Coach Bert. He is a coach of ours. And so his whole thing is activating your prey drive every day. It's like your drive and your how you're trying to pursue, right, these sales or whatever you're trying to do.
Like your
that
playbook,
day, right?
Like you're coming up with your playbook for that day.
Just getting activated, man. And, for me, like, you have to find what works for you. Like for me, music works. Like I can listen to like Patiently Waiting by 50 Cent and Eminem. I just listened to that and I was like, oh, come on, man. Like that's, man,
puts you in a mood.
Throwback. Like I'm hyped. Or I'll hop on YouTube and I watch Motiversity is a big channel that I follow. That or Law of Attraction Coaching I just put on a 15-20 minute video. Typically we'll end up, I forget to turn it off and then it goes to like a 45-minute video, but that's like all my morning. Like that's pouring into me as I'm checking my emails, and that like kickstarts me.
That's amazing. Now, not everybody. I'm literally do the same exact shit.
But not everybody's like us, right? They can't hop on a YouTube video and be like, let's go. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
That's
you got to
probably the
find it.
sports. That's probably the
Yeah.
sport athlete side of us
Yeah.
too. You know what
Probably.
I'm saying? But at the end of the day, yeah, you got to find what works for you in the morning. That's one thing I'm guilty. Put my hands behind my back. I'm guilty as I'll get out of used to do it. Used to be doing waking up after 6:45, 6:30. No bueno. Like that.
Yeah.
That was the worst
Good.
because I was kickstarting. I wouldn't kickstart my day.
Yeah.
I had to jump start my day with
Yeah.
jumper cables damn near by the
Right.
time I got to the office. So I love that you say that. Is there other things that your agents or your having producers do in the mornings that help them? Whether that's
Yeah.
put together a
One
progression
thing,
list. What's that look like?
one thing I push, and this is Cody Askins is kind of who turned me onto this, right? Is that so while I'm going through that motivation, like how you start your day. So this is like my goals journal, right? So it's like where I'm like writing my goals down every day, like what I'm trying to do. Now, can I really get everybody to do like it's more of something that I really encourage them because it's something that's kind of changed my life. It's just how you start your day, and I think even the importance. I wanted to circle back around to this. As far as House of Dreams go,
And
gosh,
that's
dude, this is
dude, isn't
bad.
that weird? Isn't that
We're
weird?
gonna have to hang out in person, man. But it's how you start, and that's even how we started Redwood was the House of Dreams, right? So think about that. Instead of the first thing was, man, if you don't make a sale today because it's our first day of being open, you're shit, right? It's
Right.
no, like, what do you want to do? Like, what's your passion? What's your dream? Let's help really align with that so that we know. And what happens is it builds chemistry out the gate, right? To where we all know, like I know why my support manager, because right, I'm on the sales side or I'm on the recruiting side, whatever. Our passions and dreams are going to look different, right? And so being able to know why he's taking the actions that he's doing, right? And that just, I think having that understanding, but it's starting with it, right? And I think that's where a lot of our younger producers or agents that are maybe thinking about, making the jump to do it themselves, they're not starting with that,
Why do
right?
people why is it, and maybe just because that's how we're wired or how the good Lord made us, but why is it so hard for people to, you know, jump into having a successful Monday through Friday? Like
Yeah.
like I said, I was guilty of it as well, but I couldn't go back and tell you exactly the reasons why. It could just be old habits. It could just be, uh, maybe it was being lazy. I don't
Yeah.
know. I can't pinpoint what the thing is because you always hear about people afterwards, right?
Yeah.
I do this every morning. It's my morning routine. I get up at
Right.
5:30. I do this. But at some point they didn't just come out of the womb and graduate high school and college and decide to start acting like that. At
Yeah.
some point they had to change.
I think
Why
I'm gonna
is
go
that?
real. I'm gonna go real deep on this. I think it's because they look at it as Monday through Friday. Like for me, how I view my week is it's just my week. I
Right.
don't like, I don't like, oh, only Monday through Friday am I doing this, right? Now you're gonna have a schedule and you're gonna have a routine, but I think you get stuck in the 9 to 5 mindset when it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, what's Wednesday? Hump day, right? And then everybody's got the whatever Monday is, right? And then it's Friday, baby, which is the end of my week, which to really find success, at least, and I know we talked about this before we started recording, is man, I worked 6 days a week for 5 years straight. And like when I say 6 days a week, like I did not miss Saturdays, right? And so even just having that mindset of it, yes, or is it Monday through Friday? Is that your typical work week? For sure, right? But it doesn't have to be yours. And I think that's part of the roof of the House of Dreams, the limiting beliefs that hey, I can only pursue this passion and this dream 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, like right
That
when we have Saturday, Sunday too.
that's how I feel the 9 to 5 thing.
Mm.
Like I got bleeped out on when I was a guest on Cass's show. My first time I was ever on any podcast, and I said it like I was so passionate with it, and I was like, "You're never gonna get it done 9 to 5."
Yeah.
And I think, and but it's looking back on it, that's the truth because you
Yep.
do. I've never heard anyone say that they look at it Monday through Friday,
Mm.
but that's got to be it, man. Like I'm gonna go in and do my job, do my things, write my $20,000-$30,000 of insurance this month, and hopefully Mr. Kampert's happy with me. I mean,
Right.
that ain't gonna cut it, son.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
not gonna cut it. What types of things? What types of things, marketing wise,
Mhm.
have you guys done? I mean, I know you're in 35 states. You guys do both personal and commercial. Trucking's a big thing for you guys on the commercial side.
Yep.
What types of content marketing, advertising are you guys doing? And how are you doing it? Or can I give us some
Yeah.
tips and tricks for those guys?
So it's funny because I'm actually really good at marketing, but I do it like the total opposite way, like your typical marketer does. Because I actually really don't market it. Like I market us, I market ourselves, our brand, but when I'd say market, like I just make posts, right? And
Sure.
I connect with agents, and I typically, like, you can't find out about our agent owner program on my website, right? I don't run ads. I'm never going to be in your timeline as an ad, right?
You almost don't want to though on that. You don't want to do that.
To the point of, I think the power of word of mouth, and people overlook it, right? And when I say word of mouth, y'all, like so I'm really, really big on Facebook. Anybody that follows me knows, like, that's where I pretty much live. There's tons of social media platforms out there. I'm meeting agents. We're doing a workshop here in Austin in January, and one of the guest speakers who's coming to speak, she's like making bank on TikTok selling life insurance, right? So again, to each their own. This is where I found success, but I think it was a learning moment of, and maybe this is kind of on because of the independent side. If you're a captive listener, it is a little bit different because your mindset has to be different because you only have one option,
Joe,
right?
If there's a captive listener on here, they better be getting ready to transition to independent, because I've talked some mad shit about some captive people on it.
Right. Yeah, they're like, okay. But I think on the independent side, it was, and this applies to the marketing piece as well as how I'm like bringing on clients, not just agents, but clients, right? Like insureds, is, you don't have to take on everybody, right? And I think, word of mouth and referrals from somebody who I've already chosen and to trust and to bring on, again, whether that's a client or an agent, because there is trust in a client too, guys. Like, anybody that doesn't establish that with your client, then you're never going to hit bonuses or contingencies because you've got a bunch of crap clients that don't give a shit about you or your book of business and how healthy. Like, there are business aspects that you need to be focusing on when you're bringing clients. But again, I think it goes to marketing as well. Like, I vet people. I want to have conversations with you before I bring you on my book of business, right? And I think when you start doing the page structure, you are going to have bad apples that come in that can ruin the bunch, right? And so for me, I am all organic. Now, it probably doesn't seem that way because of how much I freaking comment and post. And I think I'm in like 174 Facebook groups right now.
Oh my
so, dude,
goodness.
Don't get me wrong,
I'm in 7 or 8.
Yeah, I'm everywhere. And that's for agents, right? And I think this is also something to think about in marketing, guys. And I've recently just learned this because I'm a yes man. I feel like you and me are very much, I'm go, 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 go.
Yeah.
I just started a men's travel, like a freaking semi-pro, like travel softball team here into, I don't know what, like, but it was having congruency with all of what you're doing. Like, does it all tie in? Like, does it make sense, right? So if I'm going to go on Facebook and that's going to be my marketing tool, like, don't go join a bunch of groups where you're not going to be able to drive revenue to your agency, whether that's through recruiting, whether that's through sales, right? So when you pull up my Facebook, it isn't a bunch of pictures of my friends from back home who are just now getting married or having kids or whatever it is. Like, it is literally agent owner chat rooms, trucking groups, real estate investment groups, new to Austin, right? So I'm big on 20 to 30-year-olds because that's who resonate really well with me as clients. I'm the relocation expert in there, right? But I'm not in any group that's never going to benefit me or my agency, right? It all has got to tie in. Like, even the softball team, right? It's marketing. And that looks really good on Facebook, right? So, but you have to establish, okay, why am I actually doing this, right? And it's like, well, I like softball. Don't get me, maybe it's the sports piece too, right? But also it's tying into my business and community involvement and showing people that, hey, like, we're here in Texas and, like, we're doing this thing. It's cool, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's important.
Now, when you say trucking, like trucking groups, or, for an example, we're here in Greenfield, or we have the Greenfield Gabber, and there's probably 15,000 people on the Greenfield Gabber. With groups like that, because I know I've had a few questions from other agents specifically to those community groups. Should I be putting, my services and stuff in there? Should I, if I'm making videos about work comp, if I'm making a video about GL, if I'm making a video about why January 1 rates with Westspin are going to go up for, 0.5% or whatever it might be, what types of stuff should they be posting on those community groups or whatnot? Because that I think is, a lot of people are scared because they don't know what to put on there.
Yep. So I'll take you through just my one group. Again, I'm in a lot, and I work a lot of these groups, but I work them all in the same fashion, right? So, but my big one that's really kind of, it's paid off. Always, always, always be honest and lead with value, right? Value and education in this, like, if you're going to make a video and you're going to drop a video and it's of value, at the end of it, don't pitch them.
Sure.
Don't solicit to them. Allow them to find value into you or in you and what you're talking about, and they will reach out to you. I promise. So like for me, I mean, and I'll take you guys through this and how it literally works, and it can change your entire agency, because this one Facebook group totally blew us up in the trucking market, right? Now we're doing obviously a lot more.
Sure.
We've got other agents that are doing, you know, millions of freaking dollars in trucking insurance. But for me, I literally went to the group. I found an active group, right? So if you're going to work a group, don't worry about how big the group is. Look at how active it is, right? Okay, if I've got in my one trucking group that I'm now an admin, and I'm going to tell you guys how I got to become an admin in this trucking, and it's all truckers. I'm the only insurance admin. So it's
that's what I was going to ask you, like,
dude, but you lead, like, go find a group that's active. I've got a 50,000 person group, but if there's only one post a day, that it's pretty much a dead group, right? Or there's spam. So find an active group. But then when you go to join, this is where everybody loses. They lie right out the gate. They tell the admin or whatever that, yes, I'm a trucker. Yes, I'm this. Yes, I'm this. Put me in, right? And then the first insurance post you put in there is like, oh, well, you're not a trucker. See ya. What did I put? I'm like, hey, I am an insurance specialist in the transportation space. I will never DM or solicit your members. I only want to help them with insurance. I know that it's a very underserved market. A lot of people have a lot of questions on how to get going with Amazon, this, and this. And that's what I post. And what do you know? I'm in. I got into the group. So, but then I led with the honesty to where I can be myself in the group.
Sure.
I'm not like kind of hiding in the shadows trying to, like, you know, find leads. And then I just started commenting. You know, people are like, hey, so like this, a lot of it was like, when it first started, it was like registry monitoring insurance services and how it's a shit show. And like, even just providing a direct contact number for them. If the email is like, all my insurance is active and it's up to date, but they keep saying it's, you know, it's not good or it's not compliant. I'm like, just call them. It's easy. But like having something like that, where I would never comment unless you can provide value, right? Like, don't just go in and just drop something random. Like, I would go in and, or here's how you set up your DOT, right? And here's the website, and you go do this, this, and this, or here's what's needed to do Uber, Lyft, or Uber, whatever, right? So just going in and providing that value. What do you know? The admin put a post out there, and this was like 6 months of me just doing that, right? And I'm getting leads, like they're coming to me and they're like, hey, can you help me? Yeah, sure, I'd love to help you, right? But then the admin tags me in a post, and this was like 6 months in, and he goes, hey guys, anything insurance, like talk, you know, or actually it was in a comment. He goes, talk to Joe. I got like 8 leads right off the bat, and he did it twice, and he did it at like 8:30 at night, and I'm like, dang, bro. And then a week later, he puts a post out to the entire group and pins it to the top of the page. Due to getting 12 insurance requests a day, we have reached out to the expert and you know, brought Joe on because of his expertise. He is the insurance specialist of the entire group. At that point in time, we were growing 1,000 members a freaking week, man. And so he literally tags me in that, and then he reaches out. So then I got like probably 50 quotes within a matter of a week. I mean, and these are trucking quotes, man. So like crazy high premium.
Yeah.
And it's true, yeah, and they aren't, right? But then he reached out and said, hey, do you want to be an admin? I'm like, yes, dude. So now I've got all the ability. Like, if I see another, and I'm sorry, but like any other insurance agents you try and hop in, dude, I just boot you. I play with you a little bit. Like, I'll let you join, and then I just mute or I hide all your comments. So they're like, why? Where are all my comments?
Why is nobody replying to my stuff?
But again, I think it led with the honesty and leading with that value and education. And now I'm the admin of a 55,000 member trucking group, and I get all the insurance requests don't even make it to the group anymore, because I see them before they hit. So it's like, I just shoot them a message saying, hey, I saw your request for insurance in the, you know, whatever group, right? I'm the specialist. I'd be more than happy to assist you. Here's a link, fill it out. And then that's the process, right? All because of honesty and value and education.
So the big thing there to take away, and this isn't I think I probably say it at some point every episode, but that's what this independent agency or this independent insurance industry gives you the ability to do as an agent, is add value in some way. And I think the second you don't approach a prospect, you don't approach an opportunity, you don't approach your business plan with how can I add value today, and don't think about, and this is the biggest takeaway. The second you think about getting something in return is the second that you just lost every value that you're putting into that.
Right.
And that is, it goes like with my podcast, the Inside Hancock County podcast, my local one. I'm having business owners, leaders in the community, people of some net worth, on my show for them to talk about themselves.
So
That's it.
yep.
All about them. What business owner doesn't like to talk about himself?
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm just adding value to that guy, blowing him up on social all over YouTube and all over the local TV station down here. It ain't costing me $1, but in return, I can tell you at some point in time, whether I want to ask him or he, before I even get a chance, it comes back because I've added value to him. And he's like, damn, that dude can't just do podcasting for, that's not his full-time job.
Like, what do you do?
What do you do?
Right.
They're going to ask. I mean, that's part of the process. If you don't think they're going to, you're dumb.
Yep.
But if you don't think they're going to, it's because you went in there anticipating a want out of that for yourself. So I commend you on that. And dude, trucking, I mean, gosh, some of these young agents don't think understand how trucking can just make their pockets full.
Well, and this is, and I think this is what we were talking about too. And if you're cool with like segue into this is like,
sure,
don't have all your eggs in one basket. Like, right. For me, like we do a lot of trucking, but I still like, I'd say 80% of our production is still coming from personal lines, right? Because to me, I'll take 10 escrowed paid in full homeowners over one trucking account.
Same, sign me up.
Right. So then but why can't I do both? Why can't I have maybe every month and I'm pushing agents to do this? Like, okay, you're selling, let's say you sell 50,000 a month in PNC. Awesome. Hey, decent month, right? Now you go in and you sell 1 or 2 trucking accounts a month. You are now over 100K a month in new business, right? And so not overwhelming yourself, right? Because like there are people, if you go full trucking, you don't have time for personal lines, right? So I think use it as a supplement to what is going to make you the most money. Like and I preach this because everybody chases trucking premiums because they're so high. And I say, y'all, the same accounts that'll make you rich will make you freaking broke too, right?
Yep.
Like as soon as you got them, they'll fall off the books just as fast, right?
Because there's somebody else out there doing the same thing. That's probably doing a little bit better. That might have a different market that can. But I mean, you as a young agent come across a guy with one tractor, no tractor, and he's hauling for hire, and hell, you can go ahead and bet that's a $10,000, at least $10,000 premium to count, depending on the vehicle. But at the end of the day,
what does that do to your month, right?
You know what I'm saying? So the question I've got leading into the personal line side of things is how important it is, if you're going to be doing personal lines, to establish those referral partners very, very early and visiting them often. You guys, that's been the bread and butter thing for you. It's been my bread and butter the last 12, 24 months, writing the crap out of the homeowner's insurance, which in return getting the chance to write the auto and also an umbrella, whatever it might be. That to me has prepared me for what I'm getting ready to go establish and do. What gets you fired up? What's that? I know helping others, but what in personal lines gets you fired up to help? Is it just the process that you've built that it works so daggone well and you love seeing it work the way it's supposed to work and it's making everybody benefit from it?
Well, I think this is cliche of an insurance agent to say, but you guys really don't understand like how important it is. Like car insurance is very freaking important. It's the riskiest thing that we do every single day is get behind that car, and people die every single day on the road. Car insurance is extremely, extremely important, right? Now, as far as like why I like the personal lines, right? And specifically, like anybody who's in life and health, maybe that's listening to this, I'm preaching to you, and I've been trying to preach to these agents for like almost an entire year now, because I really think that PNC is like, it's such a difference, and people, we're so commoditized, and they complain about it. I'm like, bring it on. That makes it so much easier for me, right? Because we are so commoditized, because everybody freaking needs it, right? Like I don't care. Like you don't need life insurance. Now, should you have it? Should I be, as an advisor, encouraging you to have life insurance? Of course, I know the importance of life insurance, but you don't need it. You need me, right? And so because of how commoditized we are now, why me, right? And that's when you have a solid value prop, right? You come in, this is who we are, here's what to expect with our agency, and you have options. Like there's no reason you wouldn't want to work with me, right? And so I think that's something especially for PNC listeners, which I know we've got a lot of them listening to this. Like, guys, being commoditized is not a bad thing. Now, does it make it a little bit more of a pain in the ass and more service oriented, people complaining about things they don't even know about? Of course. But like, y'all, like it's illegal not to have us. We are literally recession proof, right? And so I love that. I will always take 10 escrowed homeowners, right? Because my retention's on it's better. The customers are hands off, right? To whereas a trucking account where maybe it'll give me the same premium, or maybe 10 homeowners takes a little bit longer to do, right? Like where I could just
Sure.
kick out a trucking quote super quick, but what is better for my business? So I'll take the commoditization all day.
I'm getting ready to give away. I've got to, because if someone else does it, then congratulations, because it's not like it's a competition. But some people are going to ask, well, how do I make those partnerships? How do I get those referrals? How do I get this? Well, once you say, what you just said, the adding of good, having a good value proposition,
Yep.
how is it going to benefit that referral partner? Mine
Yep.
with, I mean, probably the same with you. It's just the quickness. They don't,
Yep.
the last thing they want to wait on is a damn evidence of insurance or an insurance binder, just so
Right.
they can close on the house.
Yep.
You're the cherry on the top. And if you can't put the cherry on top within 2 hours of them requesting something,
Right.
you're probably not going to be a good referral partner for that one.
I've worked with some referral partners where they're like, yeah, as long as we get it all, within 48 hours. And I'm like, oh my God, who have you been working with? Right. Cause I'm like, you'll have it in 20 minutes, man.
Yep.
Like, I mean, unless my office is burning down, like there ain't no reason it should take
Sure.
me 48 hours to get you a home quote. Right. I love that.
So I think it's just the adding that value, like I said, adding the value of what can I provide for not the customer at this point in time, because chances are me talking to that customer are probably, I'd say, one time before they close. And that's maybe just to go through the quote.
Right.
Or explain what escrow means.
Right.
I mean, how many times I've had to explain escrow and how your insurance is paid.
Are you escrowing? I don't know. I'm like, well, you probably are.
Yeah. Are you with a bank or financial institution? Are you a mortgage company? I'm with a bank. Yep. I don't know. I don't. But what I'm creating and what I have been creating, and I appreciate my dude Andy up at Glovebox for kind of helping me put it together and find the building blocks of it. But what I've done is I've got 3 primary, mortgage lenders that are consistently sending stuff, but I'm not satisfied with those 3, because I want to get to the point where I can automate those and spend the other time on the commercial stuff.
Yep.
Well, by doing that, I was like, what kind of ideas or what can I come up with to make it attractive for other mortgage lenders or real estate agents to get involved? Because I'm not going to go out and knock on those doors of those other people at this point in time. Right. I've liked my building blocks of who I've got and what we're doing. So I sat there and I go, bingo, a competition. How can I get people fired up about sending Mitch Gibson an insurance referral and why it's so important? I just need to talk to the mortgage lender. That's all I need to do. I just need to talk to him, and I'll sell it to him. And I promise you, I will get 1 or 2 things from him, and I'll prove to him that I'm worth his value, and I'll be his insurance specialist at that point in time. So create a website that's going to have a leaderboard. All you got to do is go to the website landing page, sign up as a real estate agent, and that's going to be your quote unquote hub of submitting insurance referrals. Nice. So I already used a specific link and a specific technology company that I am able to get those documents in real time from the mortgage lender. But I want people to see the competition of, okay, if I write the policy, you get 3 points towards that. Whoever has the most points in 12 months is, what that prize is. And I don't know if it's going to be illegal yet, but I got to figure out what that is legality wise. Giving away
how much can I give you?
Give away a trip to, a 3 to 4 day vacation down to Florida or something, that's going to get them fired up and say, oh,
okay. Yeah.
Ooh, right. You know what I'm saying?
And who else is doing that?
I don't think so.
Again, the why me? And it's like, well, because why not? Right. If I've got nothing to lose and he's actually, practicing what he's preaching, if anything, I only have nothing but gain, right? And better business practice. So I think, dude, that's gold, bro. And everybody loves to compete. They all want to be number one. So it's like, that's good.
I mean, I see all the time through the MyBor. I went and spoke at the MyBor of Hancock County a couple of times, and I'm a part of their little Facebook group and whatnot. But I remember they did something. I couldn't exactly tell, but there's a point system of if they were able to get like donations, like any donations they got for the specific, maybe it was a food pantry or for this homeless shelter, whatever it was, whoever got the most points was given a $500 gift card. I'm going, damn, these people were competing. Like they were literally just, no, I had this. I know that. You know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, that gets them fired up somewhere sunny and warm and not in nasty Indiana, sign me up. So that was just a creative idea. Will it work? I don't know. We're gonna see. If it doesn't work, I'm not gonna spend too much more time on it. But I think it will.
You guys hearing this though? Like what we started with was the going you got, because the only way that you're or seeing, right, seeking out, and we haven't even talked about events and the power of events and getting in the room, but like finding other ideas and implementing them into your agency. That's not even an insurance agency. You're growing, like, dude, that's an amazing idea. And now it's going to not only drive more revenue to your agency, but again, it's just one more thing that separates you and sets you apart from the average Joe down the street or the guy that's sitting in the cubicle in the call center, right? Like Geico is not doing that. Like, I promise you, right?
He's not allowed, because he's not allowed.
Right. Like, I mean, come on. And so, but I hope y'all heard that, because even as we've gone through this podcast, like it circles back around to like, just like only the good people, like so many people, like I feel like they just don't want to steal stuff, right? And I'm like, only the good ones do, right? Like why would you go see somebody finding success and not try and do what they're doing, using what they're doing to find success? Like, doesn't really make sense.
I was timid to even say it, because the site hadn't been coded the way it's supposed to. I'm waiting on that to be finished up.
Yeah, don't drop the link.
I was like, I don't even know if it works yet. I might get on there and it just might crash, but I hope it works out. And I think that just gets to the part of, I think as we develop as human beings, just in general in this world that we're living in, it's the pivoting. Like, you go, what am I going to have to do now? Something's changed. Tech's changed. The way I buy auto insurance changed, the way I buy groceries have changed, this, that, and the other way we do meetings has changed. Yep. So you've had to adjust, and I don't like saying adjust. I like the pivot work. Like, you got to pivot. So I think if you can pivot and understand maybe what I'm doing right now is going to be a 360 or 180 degree difference of what I'm going to be doing in 2 years down the road, because I'm telling you, it would happen. It will happen. It's happened to you probably 5 or 6 times in your 8 years of insurance. That's how much things change. But Joe, we're gonna have to do another episode.
Yeah, man.
Again,
dude, I feel like
soon.
We've got so much more that we could just keep going.
This is not a good thing that just happened today. It was a great thing that happened, but it's not, because you might be on the show 17 more different times. One thing I do want to, I'm gonna tempt Joe into doing this, but I got to get permission from Mr. Cass. But see if we can get a Facebook Live on Facebook or even on YouTube, whatever it might be, and have Joe maybe play us out and show us what he means by the whole House of Dreams. Just so if you wanted to work on that with your team, yourself as an individual, if you've got a life coach, if you've got a business coach, whoever that might be, mentor that can help you establish that, I think that would really benefit a lot of you, because you won't be able to be successful moving down the road. You won't be able to do anything you want insurance wise. You won't be able to focus on a specific niche one day, because you didn't start with the foundation. Yeah. You didn't start with the foundation. So if you're cool with that, I'll see what I can do about getting that set up.
Whatever we can do, man. And I think, kind of my last little parting point here is that, and anybody that's listening, you don't have to impact the entire world with one, like as long as you're impacting one person's life, that's what matters. Right. And I think people will overlook that, where it's like, I've got to change the masses. Right. And I've got to have, like, it starts with one person. And as long as you're changing one person's life, whether that's every day, whether that's every week, whatever it is that you're setting out, I promise you it will come back tenfold. Right. And so just, I hope people hear that, when I say that, it's like, you don't have to have a podcast. And now we encourage you to do that. And that's what we didn't even touch on that. Right. But we'll touch on that on the next episode. But like, you don't have to have that to impact people's lives. Right. So I hope you guys are pushing into that, because the more lives you change, I promise you, the better your life will be as well. So thank you, man, for having me on. This was
mic drop. Cool. You think you're getting away. We're at my favorite segment of the show.
Oh no.
I got 5 rapid fire questions. Some of them are kind of cheesy. Some of them can make a difference, and some of them are really good. We'll start off first. I never get them correct in the right 1 through 5 order. That's just how my mind works, but I'll try my best. But first, start off on this rapid fire 5 questions. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Ooh. Man, I'll probably go chocolate chip cookie dough, man. Unless it's heavy on the cookie dough, man. It gets a little much, a little rich.
A little much. If you could go back in time and spend 24 hours with any legend in your mind, who would that be?
Kobe Bryant.
Any specific reasons why, other than he's just a GOAT?
Goat, man. I love, like, when I say guys, like, I love Kobe Bryant. Like, bro, I've got little like light up Kobe Bryant.
Look at that,
dude. I
Mamba.
love Kobe. It's the best, one of the best interviews, if not, the best one that I've seen with him and Patrick Bet-David.
Couldn't agree more.
His mindset. Gosh, if I could spend 24 hours with that dude, I would pee down my leg, like you were talking about earlier.
Absolutely. If you could visit anywhere in this world, where would you visit?
Ooh, that's a good question. Anywhere in this world. So this is going to be kind of a roundabout answer. So I have basically told myself that until I hit all 50 states in America, then I've been to Japan, which was awesome. Any place in the world though.
I'm at 42 states right now.
Yeah, I haven't, dude. I've like barely even touched like the amazingness of like, just like, there's so many national parks. Man, I don't know, dude. That's a tough. I guess I would say Hawaii. Hawaii is going to be my last one that I really, and I've always wanted to go. And my mom's been like 6 times, and I'm like, sick, Mom. Like,
thanks, Mom.
Never going to take your boy with you. Yeah.
I mean, a suitcase, something. Strap me on top of the airplane. This last question.
I'll go with Hawaii.
This last question you probably answered before before you thought you were getting off the call here. But if you could give a piece of advice to anybody out in the world, insurance related or not, what would it be and why?
I think, gosh, man, we're going to have another episode because there's so much I want to unpack on this. But to break it down is getting in the room and making sure that you're not the smartest person in the room, right? And I think surrounding yourself with people who have done it before you. And again, it's not always going to be the same, but like that is one thing that has changed our entire agency is just networking, man. Networking in collaboration. I don't care if you get nervous when you get like a lot of people don't go to networking stuff and change their agencies because they feel like they're going to be alone at the event, right? And like you're missing the point of networking. Like it's better, right? Because then it's like these are all people you've never once talked with that could literally
don't worry about it by judging you,
right? Like, and so that's again, there's so much more to unpack in that, but I truly believe networking, and you've got to seek people out, right? Like I'm not just gonna, now I'll find you in passing maybe, but if you really want to change your agency and you hear something or you see something or people are saying, man, they're doing this, and this over here really well, go seek it out and get in the room for sure. That's
the biggest mistake of you not asking is not getting the book to success. And that's right. Realistically what you're is. So
I mean, you can always get a no. It's fine if they say no, right?
But I'm telling you right now with this industry, I don't probably same with you. I've never been told by another agent, no, I'm not discussing this or that. So that's the loveliness of the world we're living in, Joe. If anyone needs to get in contact with you, find out more about what things you're doing. Obviously Facebook's a bread and butter for you, but where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so Joe Kampert on Facebook. Again, I'm very, very active. My middle name is not Frazier. I was just really into boxing when I created my Facebook, so it's just Joe Frazier.
Down goes Frazier.
And now everybody knows Joe. Part of marketing 101, right? Like, don't change the name if that's what people know. If I put my true middle name, people are like, who the hell is this Joseph Dane dude? But yeah, Joe Frazier Kampert. Redwood Agency Group is the website, redwoodagencygroup.com. So website, we've got a YouTube. Again, just look up Redwood Agency Group and follow us there. Open book. So you guys add me on Facebook. I'm sorry, I've got 5,000 friends and I really need to purge. So if it takes me a little bit to message you back, like I'm working on it. I'm just busy, okay? But add me and I'm
double message him because that's what I did and it worked. Because sometimes we got to be held accountable. I mean, sometimes we've got to be held accountable. So it's good people like Joe making a difference out in the world, and that's what this industry and this podcast is all about. It's helping young agents, helping anybody out there that's getting started from captive to independent or just out of the blue decided to get the insurance.
Making a pivot, right?
Yep, making a pivot. I love it. So from Mitch Gibson, Mr. Joe Kampert from the Redwood Agency out in Austin, Texas, nice and warm and 30 degrees here in Indiana. Hope everybody has a great rest of the day. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Go check us out on YouTube. You always know where to find me, mitchgibson.com. Check it out below. And we'll catch you next time on the MVP podcast. Everybody have a great day. Take care. And always remember, you can make a difference. Take care, everybody.